The ghost in the room. Imagine the scene. It's a quiet evening, the kind that should feel peaceful, but instead, the silence is heavy, like a wool blanket soaked in water. You are in the room with her, the woman you have built a life with, your wife, your partner. You speak, and she answers, but her eyes are distant, looking through you, past you, as if focused on a ghost you cannot see. There's a fundamental breakdown in communication, but it's not about the words, it's about the frequency. You are broadcasting on a channel she no longer listens to. You feel a chilling sense of inadequacy, a quiet desperation that gnaws at your confidence. You try to connect, to bridge the gap with logic, with affection, with shared memories, but you are throwing stones into a void. This feeling, this subtle but persistent rejection, is one of the most painful experiences in modern relationships. It is the slow, grinding erosion of your own significance within your own home. Her emotional detachment is a form of psychological warfare you don't even know you're fighting. You begin to question your own thinking, your own habits. Is it you? Did you change? This uncertainty is a mental trap, a precursor to the death of intimacy, and it's a pain that millions of men feel but can never articulate, because the enemy they are fighting is invisible. The enemy is not another man. It is an idea. The invisible third person. In your marriage, there are not two people, but three. There is you, there is her, and there is the phantom she is eternally comparing you to. This is the root of the disconnect, the source of that vacant look in her eyes. This third person is the architect of her disappointment. He is the silent judge in her internal courtroom, and against him, you are always found wanting. He is stronger, more decisive, more mysterious. His silence is profound, not awkward. His authority is innate, not performed. You feel this comparison in the moments she dismisses your opinion, in the way her body tenses almost imperceptibly when you try to lead, in the faint, almost undetectable sigh of resignation when you do exactly what she asked for. This is the foundation of emotional cheating. Long before another man ever enters the picture, her loyalty has already shifted to this internal ideal, this perfect masculine form. The devastating truth of modern relationships is that the most dangerous affair, the one that truly signals the potential for divorce, is not the one happening in a hotel room. It is the one happening inside her mind. The psychology behind this is ancient and brutal, a core mechanism of female attraction that our modern world has tried, and failed, to sanitize. Understanding this phantom is not just a key to your relationship, it is the key to understanding her very soul. Naming the archetype. Let us give this ghost a name. Let us drag it from the murky depths of the unconscious and into the harsh light of awareness. We are not talking about a simple, daddy issue. That is a lazy, superficial diagnosis that explains nothing. We are talking about something far more powerful, more primal. We are talking about an archetype. Specifically, the Forbidden Father Archetype. Carl Jung, the master cartographer of the human soul, understood that our minds are not blank slates. They are filled with ancient, universal symbols he called archetypes, the hero, the mother, the trickster. And for a woman, the first and most powerful masculine archetype imprinted upon her psyche is that of the father. But the fantasy, the darkest sexual fantasy, is not a desire for her literal, biological father. To even think that is to miss the entire point and fall into a Freudian trap of crude literalism. This is about the symbol of the father, the embodiment of absolute authority, of unshakable order, of profound wisdom, and of a power so immense that it is, by its very nature, forbidden. It is a desire for the qualities of this mythic figure, projected onto a man in the real world. It is a deep, psychological craving for a specific type of masculine energy that she herself lacks. The animus and the imprint. To grasp the power of this, you must understand Jung's concept of the animus. The animus is the unconscious masculine side of a woman's psyche. It is an internal collection of all her experiences, beliefs, and archetypal images of what it means to be a man. And the first artist to sketch the blueprint of her animus was her father. He was the original masculine force. His strength, his weaknesses, his presence or his absence, his approval or his disapproval, all of it created the foundational layer of her expectations for all men. This is not about his habits or his job, it is about the emotional charge he carried. Was he a stable rock? A chaotic storm? A distant, silent king? This initial imprint becomes the default setting for her attraction. She will either seek to replicate that dynamic or violently react against it for the rest of her life. But either way, that first archetype, the father figure, dictates the terms of engagement. Your success or failure in the relationship is often a direct referendum on how you measure up to this deeply ingrained, unconscious template. Your communication efforts, your attempts at building trust, your entire performance as a spouse, is being judged against a standard that was set before you ever met her. The psychology is unforgiving. Her emotions are not responding to you, the man. They are responding to how you activate, or fail to activate, this primal psychic structure. The fantasy of transgression. Now we arrive at the core of the darkness, the reason this fantasy is so potent and so deeply buried. It is a fantasy of transgression. The father, as an archetype, represents the ultimate taboo. He is the one figure of authority and power that is sexually off-limits. This prohibition is what charges the fantasy with its electric power. It's not about wanting the forbidden thing itself, it is about the intoxicating thrill of touching the boundary. When a woman is drawn to a man who embodies this archetype, an older, powerful CEO, a brilliant, aloof professor, a mentor who is emotionally impenetrable, she is not seeking a substitute father to care for her. She is seeking a vessel for this transgressive energy. The attraction is not about love, it is about power. By seducing, attracting, or even just earning the focused attention of a man who personifies this forbidden authority, she is symbolically conquering the ultimate taboo. It is an act of supreme psychological assertion. It allows her to resolve the primal tension of the Electra complex, the daughter's unconscious competition for the father's attention, on her own terms, as an adult woman. It's a dangerous game of emotions, a high-stakes test of her own feminine power against the ultimate masculine symbol, and it is a fantasy that, if left unexamined, can lead directly to emotional and physical adultery. Pillar 1, the craving for unquestionable authority. The first pillar of this archetype is the craving for unquestionable authority. In our modern world, men are taught to be collaborators, to seek consensus, to validate feelings, to say, "What do you think?" This approach, while socially encouraged, is a death knell for primal attraction. A woman is surrounded by a world of endless, paralyzing choice. Her own emotions are a chaotic sea of fluctuating desires and fears. The last thing her unconscious mind respects is a man who adds to the chaos by offering more choices, more uncertainty. The Forbidden Father archetype represents the opposite. He is the rock against which the sea of chaos breaks. His authority is not democratic, it is absolute. He doesn't ask for her opinion on the direction, he is the direction. This is not about tyranny or abuse. It is about a profound, grounding certainty. His frame is unshakable. When he speaks, it is not a suggestion, it is a statement of reality. This quality bypasses her critical thinking and speaks directly to her primal psychology. It creates a feeling of profound safety, a psychological exhale she may not even know she was desperate for. When you offer endless negotiation in your communication, you are forcing her to remain in a state of masculine, logical vigilance. The man who embodies the archetype allows her to finally let go, to surrender into her feminine essence, because she has absolute trust in his unwavering position. This is why she may find herself drawn to a man who seems difficult or even arrogant. His unyielding frame is, to her unconscious, a sign of supreme confidence and safety. The failure of the modern nice guy. This brings us to the tragic failure of the nice guy in the landscape of long-term attraction. You were told that being agreeable, accommodating, and endlessly supportive was the key to a healthy relationship. This is a lie. A devastating lie. While these qualities are pleasant, they do not build or sustain the polarity necessary for deep, sexual desire. The nice guy, in his effort to avoid conflict and please her, abdicates his authority. He hands her the reins of the relationship, asking her to make the decisions, to set the course. He thinks he is being kind, but from the perspective of her primal psychology, he is being a coward. He is burdening her with the masculine role, a role she does not want to play with her intimate partner. It exhausts her. It builds resentment. It slowly transforms your image in her mind from a lover into a brother, or worse, a son she must manage. The Forbidden Father archetype is the polar opposite. He would never dream of burdening her with his indecision. His confidence is not a performance, it is a state of being. The deep, unspoken tragedy is that she may consciously love you for your kindness, but her body and her unconscious mind will feel nothing but contempt for the lack of masculine authority it represents, creating a schism that often leads to cheating with a man who is your exact opposite. Her adultery is often a desperate, unconscious attempt to experience the polarity that has vanished from her marriage. Pillar 2, the addictive thrill of earning approval. The second pillar of this potent fantasy is the addictive thrill of earning approval. A good, modern man offers his approval and validation freely. He tells her she's beautiful, smart, and wonderful constantly, hoping to build her confidence. He behaves like a cheerleader, but he is meant to be a king. This constant, unconditional validation has the opposite of the intended effect, it renders his approval worthless. If it is always given, it means nothing when it is received. The Forbidden Father archetype, however, operates on a different, far more powerful psychological principle, intermittent reinforcement. His approval is a rare, precious commodity. It must be earned. He has standards, not just for her, but for himself and the world. He is not easily impressed. This creates a state of profound, addictive tension. She finds herself subtly changing her behavior, striving to meet his unspoken criteria, working to elicit that rare nod, that fleeting glance of genuine admiration. The uncertainty is the source of the power. Will he approve? Will she be found worthy? This dynamic forces her to be on her top game, to present the best version of herself. When she finally does earn his approval, the dopamine hit is 1,000 times more potent than the lukewarm validation of a man who gives it away for free. This is not a conscious strategy, it is the raw, uncut psychology of motivation and desire. The tests you are constantly failing. You must understand, she is testing you. Every day. Her complaints, her moods, her seemingly irrational arguments, they are not always what they seem. They are often unconscious tests of your frame, your authority. She is poking and prodding at your reality to see if it will crumble. When she challenges your decision, she is secretly hoping you will hold firm, that you will calmly and confidently stand by your authority without becoming angry or defensive. When she presents a problem, she is not always looking for a solution, she is looking to see if the problem overwhelms you. The nice guy fails these tests spectacularly. He immediately tries to fix her emotion, capitulates on his decision to restore harmony, or becomes defensive, revealing that her challenge has shaken his confidence. Each time you do this, you fail the test. You communicate to her unconscious that your frame is weak and that her reality is stronger than yours. The man embodying the Forbidden Father archetype passes these tests without even realizing he is being tested. Her emotional storms do not move him. Her challenges are met with an unyielding, almost amused calm. He is the mountain, she is the weather. Her testing is not a sign that she wants to leave you, it is a sign that she is desperately hoping you will give her a reason to stay, a reason to trust your strength. The lack of this strength is what erodes her trust far more than any single lie ever could. Pillar 3, the fantasy of being fully seen. The third and most profound pillar is the fantasy of being fully seen by a superior power. This is the culmination of authority and earned approval. A woman often feels misunderstood, her complexities and contradictions reduced to simple labels by a world that doesn't care to look deeper. The Forbidden Father archetype represents a consciousness that sees all of her light and her shadow, her beauty and her ugliness, her ambition and her shame, and is not intimidated. He is the silent observer, the one who understands her motivations better than she does herself. This is an incredibly seductive fantasy. The man who looks at her not with simple adoration, but with deep, penetrating understanding, becomes irresistible. He doesn't just see the persona, the social mask she wears. He sees the shadow, the disowned parts of herself she keeps hidden. And he is not afraid of it. In fact, his calm acceptance of her darkness makes her feel profoundly safe. When he gives her that rare piece of approval, it feels so powerful because it is not for her performance, it is for her authentic self, which he has taken the time to discern. This is why men who are psychologists, mentors, or even those with a dark or troubled past can be so magnetic. They project an aura of having navigated the depths, and therefore, they can navigate her depths without getting lost. This desire to be fully seen and yet still accepted by a powerful masculine frame is the ultimate goal of the fantasy. The symbolic conquest. Let's return to the psychology of transgression, for this is where the raw, sexual energy of the archetype is truly ignited. The fantasy is not just about finding a man with these qualities, it is about the act of engaging with him. It is a symbolic conquest. In Jungian terms, a woman's journey to psychological wholeness, or individuation, involves integrating her masculine animus. She must take ownership of the qualities of logic, authority, and worldliness. By attracting a man who is the living embodiment of the powerful, authoritative animus, the Forbidden Father, she is playing out a vital psychological drama. The act of seducing him, of being chosen by him, of merging with him, is a symbolic act of integrating his power into herself. She is conquering the unconquerable. She is breaking the ultimate taboo and, in doing so, claiming her own power. This is why the attraction feels so fated, so overwhelming, so much more real than the comfortable, predictable love she may have in her marriage. It's not real love. It is the raw, impersonal force of an archetype seeking completion. This is the danger zone for spouses, where the mundane reality of a shared life cannot compete with the mythic narrative unfolding in her unconscious. Her quest for this symbolic conquest can, and often does, manifest as adultery, not out of malice, but out of a deep, driving psychological need that has been starved within her primary relationship. Why your stability feels like a cage. You have built a life of stability and predictability for her. You offer security, comfort, and a reliable future. You believe this is the ultimate expression of love and commitment. From the perspective of her conscious mind, it is. She appreciates it. But to her unconscious, which thirsts for growth, tension, and myth, your stability can begin to feel like a cage. A beautiful, comfortable, well-appointed cage, but a cage nonetheless. The human psyche does not desire stasis, it desires dynamic tension. It needs problems to solve, dragons to slay, and mountains to climb. When you create a life that is perfectly safe and free of challenge, you inadvertently remove the very elements required for her to feel alive and for her to see you as a vital, masculine force. The Forbidden Father archetype represents the opposite of this safe cage. He represents the wild, untamed world outside the walls. He is the chaos that promises growth, the danger that promises life. Her attraction to him is an attraction to the unknown, a rebellion against the suffocating comfort of a solved problem. Your marriage becomes the known world, and she develops a desperate, unconscious longing to explore the wilderness. The tragic irony is that the very castle you built to protect her is the reason she dreams of the dragon. The generational curse and family psychology. This pattern did not begin with you. You are likely the latest actor in a play that has been running for generations. The psychology of this archetype is deeply rooted in family systems and the emotional habits passed down from parent to child. Consider her relationship with her actual father. Was he absent, emotionally distant, or weak? If so, her animus was formed around a void, a question mark. She will spend her life projecting the ideal father archetype onto men, perpetually seeking the king she never had, and being perpetually disappointed. Or was her father a dominant, critical, authoritarian figure? If so, she may be locked in a pattern of repetition compulsion, as Freud would call it, unconsciously seeking out men who replicate that dynamic so she can finally win the war she lost as a child. You must examine your own role. You may have been chosen not for who you are, but for the role you could play in this long-running family drama. Are you the safe man she chose to escape a domineering father? Or are you the project man she chose because your weakness allows her to be in control? Understanding this generational context is liberating. It allows you to see that her behavior is not always a personal attack on you, but a deeply ingrained pattern, a psychological inheritance. This understanding is the first step toward breaking the curse, instead of just being another casualty of it. Her contempt for your unconditional love. We must speak of a difficult truth. Your unconditional love, the very thing you believe to be your greatest offering, may be the source of her deepest contempt. Love without standards, without judgment, without discernment, feels like the love one gives to a pet or a small child. It is patronizing. It lacks respect. When you love everything she does, when you accept her worst behaviors without consequence, you are communicating that you either do not have standards, or that you are too afraid to enforce them. Both conclusions are fatal to her attraction. The Forbidden Father archetype is magnetic because his love, his approval, is fiercely conditional. It is conditional upon her striving for excellence, for integrity, for beauty. His love is not a passive feeling, it is an active force that demands growth. It says, "I see the goddess within you, and I will not settle for anything less." This is a higher, more demanding form of love. It is the love of a master for his apprentice, of a king for his queen. Your "I love you no matter what" feels weak and meaningless next to his "I love you because of the heights you are capable of reaching." Her contempt is the unconscious recoiling from a love that does not challenge her to become more than she is. It is a silent scream for a love that has edges, a love that has the power to shape and transform. The language of the archetype. You cannot fight this force with the language of logic and reason. You cannot create a PowerPoint presentation to convince her that your stable love is better than the intoxicating pull of the archetype. To fight this phantom, you must learn to speak its language. It is a language of symbol, of metaphor, of nonverbal communication. It is the language of frame. The Forbidden Father does not argue. He states. He does not ask for permission. He acts. His communication is not in his words, but in his presence, his posture, his gaze. His gaze is not pleading, it is penetrating. It does not seek approval, it assesses reality. His silence is not empty, it is full of weight and meaning. To begin shifting the dynamic, you must stop over-explaining. You must stop justifying your decisions. You must cultivate a powerful silence. You must learn to hold eye contact not as a challenge, but as a statement of your presence, your unshakable core. You must transform your thinking from, "How can I make her happy?" to, "What is the right path?" and then walk that path, whether she follows immediately or not. You must embody the authority you have been giving away. This is not about becoming a cold, domineering man. It is about integrating the lost part of your own masculine soul. It is about becoming whole. The journey from fixer to king. Your primary habit, your deepest instinct, is likely that of the fixer. When she is unhappy, you see it as a problem to be solved. You rush in with solutions, with comfort, with apologies. You try to manage her emotions, to smooth over the conflict, to restore the peace. In doing this, you take on the role of a court servant, a functionary whose job is to maintain the queen's comfort. This is a low-status position, and it kills attraction. The journey you must now undertake is the transformation from fixer to king. A king does not run around fixing things. A king establishes the order within which things fix themselves. His concern is not the fleeting happiness of his subjects, but the health and integrity of the kingdom. In your relationship, you are the kingdom. Your primary responsibility is not to her emotions, it is to your own mission, your own principles, your own internal state. A king is not swayed by emotional storms, he is the calm eye of the hurricane. When she is unhappy, you do not rush to fix her, you remain steadfast, a stable presence she can orbit around. You provide the order. You hold the frame. This shift in thinking is the most difficult and most important work you will ever do for the health of your relationship and your own soul. It is the path to regaining not just her respect, but your own. Embodying the archetype, not imitating it. Let there be no confusion. The goal is not to imitate the cold, distant, authoritarian man. That would be a performance, another mask, and she will see through it instantly. The goal is to embody the positive energetic qualities of the Forbidden Father archetype within your own authentic personality. This means cultivating genuine, internal authority. It means developing a core set of non-negotiable principles by which you live your life. It means having a mission, a purpose outside of your relationship that drives you and gives your life meaning. It means developing the confidence to make a decision and stand by it, not out of stubbornness, but out of a deep trust in your own judgment. It is the difference between acting like a king and being a king. One is a costume, the other is a state of being that radiates from your core. This is not a series of tricks or tactics. It is a profound journey of self-development. You must become the man who does not need her approval, and in doing so, you become the man whose approval she desperately craves. You must build your own throne within your own mind, and only then can she see you as a king worthy of her respect and, ultimately, her deepest desire. The seduction of your own shadow. Carl Jung taught that true wholeness comes from integrating the shadow, the parts of ourselves we deny, repress, and hide from the world. Your shadow likely contains the very qualities of the Forbidden Father archetype you have been taught to suppress: your aggression, your dominance, your capacity for judgment, your selfish desires. You have been told these things are toxic. You have disowned them. And in doing so, you have become only half a man. The journey now is to turn inward and face this shadow. You must learn to embrace your own capacity for darkness, not to unleash it destructively, but to integrate it, to harness its power. You must accept that within you is a man who can be unyielding, a man who can be dangerous, a man who can judge. When you make peace with this internal figure, you are no longer afraid of it. You can access its strength without being consumed by it. This integration is the source of true masculine power and confidence. A woman feels this on a primal level. She can sense a man who is at peace with his own darkness. He feels complete, whole, and profoundly safe, because a man who is not afraid of himself is not afraid of the world, and he is not afraid of her. This is the ultimate seduction, the seduction of your own integrated soul. The final choice, the boy or the king. The knowledge of this archetype places a choice before you. It is a brutal, binary choice, and there is no middle ground. You can continue to be the boy, the accommodating, approval-seeking fixer, who manages her emotions and slowly watches her respect and desire wither and die. You can live in the comfortable lie of a peaceful marriage that is, in reality, an emotional dead zone, always vulnerable to the phantom of the archetype or the arrival of a real man who embodies it. You can watch her live out her psychological drama with other men, either in fantasy or in reality, while you remain the safe option at home. Or, you can choose to become the king. You can choose the difficult path of forging your own internal authority, of integrating your shadow, of building a frame so solid that it becomes the new, unshakable center of her reality. You can become the man she was unconsciously searching for all along. This path is not about controlling her, it is about achieving absolute control of yourself. It is a path of pain, of discipline, of confronting your deepest fears and weaknesses. It is the path of transformation. Final shot, a close-up of a man's eyes. They are not angry or aggressive, but calm, clear, and filled with an unshakable, profound certainty. He is looking directly at the camera, directly at you. The transformation. Ultimately, you cannot destroy the archetype within her mind. The ghost will always be there. It is a permanent fixture of her psychic architecture, a deep and ancient part of the feminine condition. Trying to fight it is like trying to fight the tide. You will exhaust yourself and you will lose. The strategy is not to fight the phantom, but to become more real than he is. You must embody the archetypal energy so completely, so authentically, that your presence eclipses the shadow in her mind. You become the living symbol, more powerful than the remembered or imagined one. You stop competing with the ghost, and you force the ghost to compete with you. You integrate its power, you claim its authority, and you ground it in the reality of your shared life, transforming its forbidden, destructive energy into a source of generative, electric polarity within your marriage. This is the great work. It is the alchemy of relationship psychology, turning the lead of misunderstanding and resentment into the gold of unshakable trust and primal desire. Your task is not to find a woman who doesn't have this archetype. Your task is to become the man who can master it. The fantasy does not need to be her escape, it can become her homecoming.